What's good YouTube, my name is Roman Taylor and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I want to tell you my 4 biggest key learnings I learned over my previous diets. So sit back, relax and enjoy. So jumping straight into point number 1, and that is have a specific end goal or end date that is fixed. What I mean by that is just book a holiday, maybe do a photo shoot, or maybe like marriage is coming up, or I don't know, something, but the date has to be fixed and it cannot be changed by yourself. Because what will happen most of the time, or what I experienced, is if you just say I want to diet for X amount of time, or like I want to lose X amount of weight, that goal is always changeable and it's changeable by yourself. So let's say friends come over or families visiting, something spontaneous is coming up. You always can say by yourself, okay, I'm just gonna do 1 more week of dieting because I didn't adhere to my diet. And this will always go on and on and on. And then you go from like a 12-week period to like a 7-month period where you always push back that end goal. You always like don't adhere to it, your progress will be slow, then your motivation will be low, and it's just a spiral of not getting where you want. So what I would recommend is people, or at least myself, I don't like to lose money or like do a bad investment. And so if you book like a photo shoot for like 200, 300 euros, you will most likely adhere to your diet because you know on that date you have to be ready. So that is probably my biggest tip, and I would recommend for you guys just have something that is fixed and cannot be changed by yourself. Point number 2 is, and that is something that is very true for myself, is increase your NEAT instead of your cardio. And NEAT is just a fancy term for non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which basically just stands for all the energy that you expend throughout the day that is not exercise. So if you walk to the train station, to the shops, or whatever you go, if you do a lot of gestures like I am, that is burning calories. And what I found myself oftentimes is maybe you are slow on your diet, then it's easy to say, okay, I'm just gonna do more cardio, I'm gonna 1 more session. And what happens is you kind of abuse those machines, you just bury yourself on the Stairmaster, on the treadmill, you do like 7 days a week or 45 minutes of cardio, but it is also very hard on your recovery, and you have like those high inbounds of training that are always really stressing the body. But what is more easier is just say, for example, you get off one train station early and the rest you walk. Like if you go out for lunch, just walk, or maybe take the bike to the gym. And those non-exercise activities are very easily to increase, and nearly every smartphone can track your steps nowadays. It doesn't matter if it's accurate, as long as you have your phone on yourself all day, you kind of have an estimate. And if you say, for example, your phone is always showing like 6,000 steps a day, if you increase that to 8,000 steps, that means you expend, or you like burn more calories throughout the day. So my advice would be, instead of always increasing cardio to like insane amounts, maybe think about moving throughout the day a little bit more and tracking your steps, or maybe like your movements with just something like your smartphone. So tip number 3 is invest in good sleep. And probably all of us heard that sentence before, like our body recovers while we sleep, and that is so damn true. So if you're in a dieting phase, don't ditch sleep. I mean, we all, probably not all, but most of us watched the videos of Arnie where he said like, just sleep faster, or Gary Vee that tells you like 4 hours are enough. And yes, there are some times where you just have to hustle and sleep is not there. But if you're in a dieting phase, sleep is so necessary, because you're putting your body through a phase of very high stress. I mean, if you think about it, you're giving him less energy than he needs. So he's breaking down muscle tissue at some point. Obviously, he's burning like fat cells and like fat tissue, but also like bone densities could be decreasing. And it's a very, very stressful phase for your body. So what you don't want to do is cut your sleep. So here are also my 3 tips to how to get a better sleep or a good night rest. So my advice number 1 is no caffeine after 3 p.m. I know we all love coffee, but the problem is caffeine, not coffee, caffeine has a half time of 6 hours. So that means if you drink a coffee with 80 milligrams at 3 p.m., by 9 p.m. you still have 40 milligrams in your system. So if you go to sleep between like 10 and 12 p.m. and you would have a coffee, for example, like at 5 p.m., that would mean that when you go to sleep, there's still a high amount of caffeine in your system. And while you can go to sleep with having caffeine in your system, it will affect the quality of your sleep. So your body cannot dive into those deep sleep phases where the body is actually really recovering. So my advice would be, it's okay to have coffee, or like most people need coffee during a dieting phase. But if you have a normal sleeping pattern between 10 and 12 p.m. to go to sleep, no more caffeine after 3 p.m. My next advice would be invest in some blue light blocking glasses. And that is something that is very like a new trend kind of thing. There are not that many studies, there kind of are, but the thing is, in our day in society, I mean for myself, I watch at the computer the whole day, maybe sometimes at night, I'm checking emails, I'm doing something for university, or maybe watching some Netflix with my girlfriend at night, just like hanging out. I play on a Nintendo Switch console. There's so many things that like resonate blue light. And the problem with blue light is it kind of blocks your melatonin production, which is a hormone that gets our body ready to sleep, and it also stresses the eyes. So with the blue light blocking glasses, you can kind of be countering this effect. So if you put on the glasses 2 or 3 hours before that, you will kind of feel the effect that your eyes are getting more like relaxed. You feel that you're actually getting sleepy, and I would just highly recommend trying it out. You can also do it on the iPhones, or I don't know, Android probably too. You can just put on night shift mode, but it's not the same as when you wear the glasses, because the blue light can come from everywhere. So if you just have your phone, it doesn't mean like the TV or anything else from outside, the blue light is coming in. But with the glasses, you're blocking everything, and it will definitely get you more sleepy. At least that's what I found. So my last advice will be, during a dieting phase, make sure that you get at least like 7, if not 8 hours of rest. Maybe on a rest day, try to get like maybe like 9 or 10 hours in. I know for some people that might be crazy to think like I cannot sleep that much, but believe me, if you're like dieting really hard, your body will sleep this long. Just put on your iPhone, again, like Android probably is the same. I'm sorry, I'm using an Apple iPhone, but you can just like track your sleep. You can see how much you sleep on an average rate. And this will just give you an overview of how many hours you sleep during the night. And yeah, if you feel like you've been a bit more groggy after 7 hours, that means just your body is in a different sleep cycle. So maybe try waking up after 8 hours, and if you feel better, you should stick to the 8 instead of the 7. So my last point, or my last advice, maybe you think like that's not even advice, bro, but is accept that you're hungry. And that is something where I think I felt a lot of times, because I was constantly thinking about food while I was dieting. I was watching people on YouTube just doing these crazy 10,000 calorie challenges, or like post-show, whatever, the days of where they were eating, and it kind of gets you in that mentality of always thinking about food. It's always just like, I had my meal, like when can I eat my next meal? And it's just constantly thinking about food. You get super hangry all the time, and you always think like, oh, what could I do fancy, like protein pancakes and brownies and whatnot. And it just gets you in a bad habit of relationship with, it gets you in a bad relationship with food. So my advice would be, just accept that you will be hungry during a strict dieting phase. It's just a phase. That means after 10 or 12 weeks, it's over. You can get back to a normal eating pattern. You can eat food that you enjoy. So during that time, don't over focus on food, and just accept that you will be hungry on some days. So this is it, guys. I tried to keep this one a bit shorter because I tend to do very, very long videos. If you enjoyed it, maybe leave a comment down below, or if you have any tips from your previous diets that you learned by yourself, I would highly appreciate it if you put it in the comment sections down below. It would be very interesting for me to read it. And yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and otherwise I will see you in the next one.